Talking about promoting, Abdullatif, I want to ask you about the role of the press here. The role of, you are working in media, you have started radio stations, TV stations, and now you're in social media. Where do you think the responsibility of media lies in here, in creating winners and shedding the light on them?
Well, I think being the only Emirati on the panel, Habib, if you allow me, I'll break the norm.
Badr is next to you.
Or in Kandora, yeah. Okay. Let me give you basically a complete new angle, and this is something we witness almost every day by being in the field. Now, what's happening as a result of, and since this session was very much driven by media and social media and all the new tools which is being used by the startups, what's happening is not only technology what we need to start focusing on, but also individuals who are being a result or a product out of this technology. Very quick example here. 5 years back, you go and you sit with a client, he tells you this is the media plan, and he starts listing the mediums. Now you go and you sit with the same client, he starts mentioning individuals' name. So this will take me again to a different angle, probably, or a space which no one has thought about before. Investing in individuals. And I'll tell you what's going to happen next, and probably if you allow me just to take a minute, to give you my own futuristic approach on how this is going to happen. People are being very empowered right now, so there is a media shift or a power shift moving from the medium to individuals. So individuals are becoming the new icons of media. What that means, individual, and this is something that started happening in the West right now. People started selling their tweets, people started selling their personalities, people started selling their, so you have something which basically wasn't measured, it did not exist in the past, and suddenly we can start seeing happening. Within our social life, now families started thinking in a complete different approach or different way. How can I raise my kids today so they can become that medium, standalone medium? Because I know it's not where he's going to work. It's not basically the job he can get in the future, but it's him right now. So I think this is a new opportunity. It's a different horizon. Probably we see it every day. I think it's going to grow very fast within the next few years. Probably this will leave you with two headlines. We had an Emirati who made sense on the panel, or we had a crazy Emirati who basically, didn't know what he was talking about. Yeah.
So are you saying that also with the power shift happening, that we're going to see potentially even more winners in the society, from a different kind of winners as well in here?
Well, absolutely. I think it's happening almost every day. It's just that the calculation of media and the power of media, the penetration of... a quick example here again, Habib. 60% of people in the UAE today, they carry smartphone. What does that mean by definition? It means they are a moving, worldwide centric media that can do anything. And coming from that background, when I used to run newspapers, what would a reporter do? He'll go outside, he'll collect a couple of news, bring it back, and then we'll have it in the editorial session and decide what's going to be the headline next day. Now that doesn't exist anymore. It's basically something which is being beaten by all the individuals who have smartphones. But now people will start thinking about how they can empower their ability, how they can have more skills, how they can be more talented, because at the end of the day, there is a big question, do I need to use another medium when I can become a medium myself?
So can we say that we should expect to see a new generation of winners, something that's completely different from what we've been used to?
Absolutely. There is a complete shift that's going to start happening. We are at the very beginning of this shift, but I would say 3 to 5 years from now, that level of maturity where money start being spent there is going to start happening.
So, but Twitter itself became a winner thanks to the media. It's because the CNNs of this world, you overused it. And what I'm trying to ask you is, as a media person in the Emirates, do you find it a responsibility on yourself to also try to promote emerging winners that are in your community? And if so, how do you do that? Or how do you encourage the other media to actually do that?
Well, basically, if you are talking here about the finding of new icons, are you referring to this, or
Yes.
you're referring to basically stretching the opportunities here?
No, I'm talking about identifying winners in your community
Sure.
and where the media can play a big role in accelerating those to become real winners.
Well, you see,
The responsibility of media more
it's-
than the role.
I think we have to start redefining media. And I think this is going to be a big challenge for everyone. Going to a lot of conferences around the world, you can see everyone is talking about solutions. I just came back from EFRA and Frankfurt, people are talking about solutions. You go to MEPCOM, people are talking about solutions. You go to NAB, people are talking about solutions. So you can see that traditional media right now, they are trying to find their positions. I'm not saying it's going to die, still going to be there, hopefully for the next few years. But what I'm saying is, you're going to be less dependent now on this form of media versus basically all the new mediums, which is allowing individuals now to talk to New York, London, Paris, Frankfurt, wherever you want, and convey whatever messages you want. So it shows.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually how I got to meet Fadi. I remember I emailed them on LinkedIn 5-6 years ago.
I'm
this
recruiting
is how
in
we
Jordan next week. I
Right.
have 35 people. They all came through LinkedIn. And I used to spend probably hundreds of thousands for recruitment agencies to start sourcing this talent.
So Abdullatif, let
It's-
me ask you another question. You've built, again, a radio station and a few social media companies, and I've listened to one of your talks on YouTube, again, one of the new medias, and you talked about how fast you were able to build those. Tell me a bit about the speed and the need for speed in the new generation of winners.
Well, I think, we started moving from keyboards now to stretching and using the two fingers, and we can see how kids are playing with these new devices. Speed is going to be something I think is going to leave a lot of players behind, a lot of individuals behind as well. We are talking about real time. Crisis management with a new definition is completely a different ball game. I think as a result of this, you're going to start seeing a lot of companies going to be out of business very soon. We started seeing this. I think the educational institute, they have to play a big role here. And I always have an argument that academic, unfortunately, they should not start teaching our kids the new medium. Every 6 months, you need an update. Otherwise, you are out of, and forgive me, I have to be very transparent here. Every 6 months,